Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered if feeling good or feeling energized is more important for your overall happiness? This new study dives deep into that question. So, we all know about feeling happy or sad, right? Psychologists often think about emotions in terms of two main things: valence, which is just how pleasant or unpleasant something feels, and activation, which is about how much energy or arousal you feel. Think of valence as a scale from really bad to really good, and activation as a scale from super sleepy to super excited. Now, there are two super popular questionnaires that researchers use to measure these feelings: the PANAS and the SPANE. They both ask about positive and negative feelings, and you might think they measure the same thing. But this study is saying, wait a minute, they actually measure different aspects of our emotions. Imagine a circle representing all possible emotions. The SPANE, the scale of positive and negative experience, is like measuring directly across the pleasantness line. The PANAS, the positive and negative affect schedule, is a bit different. It tends to pick words that are on the excited or agitated parts of the circle, where pleasantness is mixed with a lot of energy. So the PANAS isn't just measuring good feelings, it is measuring energetic good feelings. The big question the researchers wanted to answer was, when it comes to how happy you are with your life overall, which of these emotional ingredients is more important? Is it the pure pleasantness, or is it the energy and excitement that comes along with it? To figure this out, they decided to really dig into what words in these questionnaires actually measure. They got a bunch of people, over 1,000 in total, across two groups, to fill out these emotion questionnaires and also to rate how satisfied they were with their lives. They did this using an online platform called Prolific. The whole thing was done online, and they were careful about how they presented the questions. For example, they asked about life satisfaction first to make sure that answer wasn't influenced by thinking about specific emotions right before. They used both the SPANE and the PANAS. Remember, the SPANE is supposed to measure general pleasantness, while the PANAS is more about energetic feelings. For the SPANE, they focused on the super general words like positive, good, and pleasant to really capture pure pleasantness. They figured these words have the least amount of energy mixed in. For the PANAS, they used all the original words. These include words like alert, active, excited for positive feelings, and jittery, distressed, and upset for negative feelings. And for life satisfaction, they used a well-known questionnaire called the Satisfaction with Life Scale. Now, for the really cool part, the analysis, instead of just looking at the scores from the questionnaires, the researchers did something more advanced. They used a statistical technique called latent variable analysis. Think of it like this: they weren't just looking at the words people picked, but trying to uncover the hidden underlying factors like pure valence and pure activation that those words were actually measuring. They carefully looked at each word in the PANAS and figured out how much of it was pure energy or activation and how much was pure pleasantness or valence. What they found was really interesting. Some words on the PANAS, like determined or attentive, had very little pleasantness mixed in. They were mostly about activation, but words like excited, enthusiastic, and proud actually had a good chunk of pleasantness in them, meaning they weren't just about feeling energized, but feeling energized in a good way. Similarly, for negative feelings, words like upset and distressed weren't just about feeling bad, they were about feeling activated and bad. Then, they tested which of these underlying factors, the pure valence or the pure activation, actually predicted life satisfaction. And here is the punchline. The pure pleasantness from the SPANE was a really strong predictor of how happy people were with their lives. But the activation part of the PANAS, it added almost nothing beyond what the pleasantness already explained. So even though words like excited or enthusiastic have a lot of energy, it is the good part of that energy that seems to matter most for overall life satisfaction. The energy itself, when separated out, didn't really add much to predicting how happy people were with their lives. The only bit of PANAS-specific variance that made a difference was for the word proud. And even then, it was more about the evaluative or pleasant aspect of pride, not its energizing component. They also looked at specific emotions like joy, sadness, fear, anger, and shame. What they found was that joy and sadness were very closely tied to pure pleasantness, just like the general valence words. But emotions like fear and shame actually had a stronger connection to the activation components. This suggests that when we feel scared or ashamed, it is the heightened state of arousal that is a big part of that experience, more so than just the unpleasantness. So, what does this all mean for us? The researchers are essentially saying that for our overall happiness with life, pure pleasantness is the key ingredient. The energy or activation that often comes with positive feelings, like excitement, doesn't add much extra to our life satisfaction, once we account for how pleasant the feeling is. This is important because the PANAS is so widely used. It suggests that studies that have used the PANAS might be underestimating how much our overall happiness is tied to just feeling good. They might be picking up on energy instead of pure positive feeling. In simple terms, we seem to be more focused on the good feeling side of things when we judge our lives than we might think, and maybe more than the PANAS, with its focus on energetic feelings, can fully capture. A limitation of the study is that they only looked at people from Western cultures. We know that different cultures value different types of emotions. For example, some cultures might place more importance on feeling calm and peaceful, low activation, than on feeling excited and enthusiastic, high activation. So, these findings might not be the same everywhere. Another thing to keep in mind is that neither questionnaire has words that are purely about activation without any valence attached. So, this study can't tell us about the role of low energy states like feeling calm or relaxed. That is a whole other part of the emotional map they didn't explore. But overall, this is a really neat study because it forces us to think about what we're actually measuring when we ask people about their feelings. It shows that the labels we use for emotions, like positive affect, can be a bit misleading. What really seems to drive how happy we are with our lives is the pure pleasantness of our experiences. So next time you are feeling a surge of excitement, remember that while it feels great, it is the underlying sense of good feeling that likely contributes most to your overall life satisfaction. It is a reminder that sometimes simpler is better, especially when it comes to feeling good about life. What do you think? Does this change how you think about your own emotions and happiness? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more science explained simply, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.